Imagine a small town at the edge of the world, surrounded by snow-capped peaks, where snow falls longer than summer ever lasts. That's Alaska, the largest state in the U.S., home to 17 of the 20 highest peaks in the country. Here, the mountains are more than just a beautiful backdrop. They shape the way people live. From transportation access to livelihoods, everything depends on the towering mountains that surround them. So, in this journey, we'll explore a dozen mountain towns in Alaska, places where rugged landscapes not only challenge life, but also create unique ways of living. Let's begin our journey in Homer, a town of art on the edge of the Kenai Mountains. Known as the Halibut Fishing Capital of the world, Homer's beauty goes far beyond the sea. The town sits at the tip of the Kenai Peninsula, overlooking Kachemak Bay with the snow-covered Chugach Mountains in the distance. From the streets of Homer, you can see glaciers descending the mountainsides, almost like a living painting. The mountain landscape gives Homer a dual identity, both a fishing port and a small arts town thriving on ecotourism. With a population of over 6,000, the long winters shape their lifestyle, but also foster a close-knit community. No wonder Homer is often considered the friendliest small town in Alaska, where art, nature, and mountains come together in harmony. It's truly an intriguing place. From the artsy town on the Kenai Peninsula, we now move to Alaska's political center, which is ironically tucked away within the mountains. Yes, as the capital of Alaska, Juneau has a unique distinction. It can't be reached by road. The surrounding mountains act as natural barriers, with access only via sea or air. This makes Juneau one of the only two state capitals in the U.S. that lacks a land route to the rest of North America. This isolation, in turn, shapes the town's identity, both its challenge and its appeal. From the city, a short drive will take you to Mendenhall Glacier, an iconic glacier flowing down from the high mountains. Living in Juneau means becoming accustomed to fog, rain, and long snow-filled winters. Though it's the state capital, the atmosphere still feels like a small mountain town, with its rhythm dictated by the weather. The blend of political function and wild landscape gives Juneau a distinct character among other mountain towns. Interestingly, this sense of isolation is also felt in Sitka, though with a very different character. Located on Baranof Island, Sitka's steep mountains meet the sea directly, making the town a place where nature and culture collide. The towering green mountains provide the backdrop for wooden houses and historic Russian buildings. The mountain landscape here influences the climate. Heavy rain, thick fog, and long winters shape the way the locals live. Sitka also has a rich history, from its days as a Russian colonial center to its vibrant Tlingit cultural heritage. Everyday life here is filled with sea and mountain activities, from salmon fishing to hiking through the wet forest trails. The St. Michael's Cathedral is the heart of the town, and it's the first Russian church in America open to visitors every day. Meanwhile, the Sitka Sound Science Center showcases the local marine life, with salmon hatcheries and touch tanks featuring specimens from Sitka's waters. While the previous towns offer a mix of sea and mountains, Skagway showcases a different face. Mountains as the gateway to the gold rush history. The town sits as a small settlement surrounded by steep cliffs and misty peaks. This very landscape made it the main route for gold seekers in the late 19th century. Thousands of people crossed through the Chilkoot and White Passes, leaving behind a historical legacy that is still celebrated today. Yet, modern life in Skagway remains deeply tied to the mountains. Long winters with heavy snowfall and a short summer full of tourists. The town now serves as a popular gateway for cruise ships, but it still retains its identity as a historic mountain town. Skagway seems to hold the echoes of the gold rush era, embraced by the mountains around it. From the gateway to gold, we shift to a coastal town, Valdez, located at the foot of the Chugach Mountains. It's known as one of the most spectacular areas in Alaska. How could it not be? The road leading here winds through high valleys with towering waterfalls, making it feel like entering another world. Life here is deeply influenced by the mountain landscape, from extreme weather with heavy snowfall to the frequent risks of landslides and earthquakes. Yet, the mountains also bring blessings: winter tourism, skiing, and hiking trails. The town is also known as the end point of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Valdez shows us how humans can endure in one of the harshest, yet most beautiful, mountain landscapes in Alaska. The beauty is just as stunning in this next town. Cordova lies in a remote corner of Prince William Sound, with the towering Chugach Mountains forming a natural barrier. This topography makes the town feel secluded, only accessible by sea or air. The surrounding mountains bring blessings in the form of glaciers and salmon-rich rivers, which are the backbone of the local economy. With a population of just over 2,000, the long winters, snowstorms, and often isolated roads make the community rely heavily on its strong bonds. In the midst of this isolation, the Copper River Salmon Festival was born, a celebration that highlights how the mountains, sea, and people in Cordova are closely intertwined. If Cordova feels quiet and remote, Seldovia presents a different face. Situated on the edge of Cook Inlet, flanked by forests and green mountains, this town seems peaceful at first glance. However, it carries a dark history. The devastating Good Friday earthquake of 1964, which flattened much of the town. That event forced residents to rebuild their lives amidst the mountains and the sea. Today, brightly colored wooden houses stand along the bay with mountain peaks in the backdrop, almost serving as a symbol of resilience. Hiking is one of the most popular activities, and adventurers can explore one of the 2 rocky ridge trails in the area. Fun fact, Seldovia was once a Russian trading post, then a hub for logging and fishing. Though the population isn't large, the spirit of the community, surviving off the land and sea, remains strong. The next town is just as awe-inspiring. Talkeetna may be small, but its name is known worldwide, thanks to its proximity to Denali, the highest peak in North America. Nearly every major mountaineer attempting to conquer Denali starts their journey in this town. Surrounded by rivers and forests, the landscape is often dominated by the majestic silhouette of Denali in the distance. Talkeetna itself is full of character. Its main street is lined with cafes, art galleries, and stories from mountaineers who have passed through. The mountain brings life through tourism, but it also brings unpredictable weather that can limit daily activities. Talkeetna is a town that has grown as a friend and witness to one of the most legendary mountains in the world. After talking about the gateway to Denali, let's look at Seward, a town that blends mountains, sea, and glaciers into one dramatic landscape. Situated on the edge of Resurrection Bay, surrounded by steep mountain walls, the view from here is like a natural amphitheater. Blue waters, green peaks, and glaciers that nearly touch the town. The mountains are not just a backdrop, but a defining factor for the lives of the 2,700 residents. In summer, hiking trails like the Exit Glacier Trail are filled with visitors. Meanwhile, in winter, the mountains become a playground for skiing and snowmobiling. Seward's economy is driven by tourism, from cruise ships to the natural wonders of Kenai National Park. Though small, the town remains busy thanks to its fortunate geographical location, where the mountains and the sea meet, giving it a unique identity as one of the most beautiful mountain towns in Alaska. How about it? Are you interested in visiting? From the bustling tourist towns, there's Girdwood, offering a completely different atmosphere. Born and raised as a mountain resort town, it offers the charm of a small town centered around Mount Alyeska. Girdwood shows how the mountains are not just a backdrop, they're the heartbeat that keeps the entire town alive. In winter, the slopes are filled with visitors who come to ski or snowboard. Then, in summer, hiking trails and glacier views make it a thrilling destination for nature tourism. Though small, Girdwood never feels empty due to its strategic location in the heart of the Chugach Mountains. But of all the towns we've covered, none is more unique than this one. Located in a narrow bay surrounded by mountains and glaciers, Whittier can only be accessed through a long tunnel that cuts through the mountains. The extreme conditions mean nearly the entire population lives in one large building, Baggage Towers. Within this building, you'll find a grocery store, church, school, even government offices, all under one roof. The surrounding mountains often bury the town under thick snow, making it feel completely isolated from the outside world. Yet, it's precisely this uniqueness that makes Whittier famous. A mountain town where everyday life is concentrated in one massive building. Meanwhile, there's Sutton-Alpine, a community located in the Matanuska-Susitna area, nestled between rugged mountains and rocky river valleys. The town once thrived as a coal mining base, with the mountains serving as its main resource. Today, while the mines are no longer bustling, remnants of its mining history are still visible in the ruins of old facilities. The mountainous landscape gives Sutton-Alpine a deeply rural character. Long winters, short summers, and a small community accustomed to a simple life. The mountain trails remain a popular draw for climbers and tourists eager to experience the wild side of Alaska. From the mining valleys, we now head to Angoon, a town that shows how indigenous culture is deeply rooted at the foot of the mountains. Yes, this town sits on Admiralty Island, surrounded by thickly forested mountains, often shrouded in mist. Angoon is known as the largest Tlingit community in the region, and the mountains play a central role in their daily lives. The mountain forests provide resources, while the sea at the foot of the mountains gives fish and shellfish. The population of Angoon is small, only around 300 people, but traditions and culture remain strong, making it a mountain town rich in historical significance. Living in Angoon means living in harmony with the wild, whether it's the brown bears inhabiting the mountains or the ancestral stories that place the mountains at the core of their identity. A similar picture can be found in the town of Wrangell on the Alexander Archipelago, with a mountain range forming the backdrop of the town. Historically, the mountains and rivers here provided abundant resources, making Wrangell an important post for fur and gold trading. But Wrangell also has a unique history. It's been under the flags of Russia, Britain, and the United States. The wet, forested mountain landscape makes the town a gateway to wilderness adventures, including the famous Stikine River. Life in Wrangell remains simple, with a tight-knit community and vibrant Tlingit culture still very much alive. After Wrangell, we close our journey in Mountain Village, a small town whose name says it all about its relationship with the mountains. Located on the banks of the Yukon River, yet surrounded by rolling hills that give it that mountainous feel. With a population of fewer than 600 people, the majority of which come from Native American communities, life here is challenging. The harsh landscape brings long winters, limited access, and resources that are not always easy to come by. Yes, Mountain Village may be small, but it shows how a community can thrive under the shadow of Alaska's remote peaks, building resilience and tight bonds within the mountain's embrace. In the end, these 15 mountain towns show us one thing. In Alaska, mountains are not just a scenic backdrop, but the heart of life. From the artistic Homer to the isolated Juneau to the simple mountain village, each town illustrates how humans have forged deep connections with the rugged landscapes surrounding them. The mountains bring challenges with extreme weather and isolation, but they also offer beauty, resources, and even cultural identity. Between snow-capped peaks and dense forests, the people of Alaska have written stories of survival while celebrating beauty. And therein lies its charm, where mountains and people live side by side, creating unique towns at the edge of the world. What do you think?